Bill Polian, longtime GM in the NFL, more notably for the Indianapolis Colts, says that Randy Moss or Terrell Owens doesn't belong in the Football Hall of Fame. If my grandmother were here right now, she would say, how could you fix your mouth to say that? Right. Asked by Talk of Fame Network whether he'd pick Owens or Randy Moss when both are on the Hall of Fame ballot next year, Polian said he'd leave them both off. He says, quote, "I take neither. First of all, here's my position. I want players who contribute both individually and to the team. T.O.'s situation, T.O.'s temperament, his ability to contribute the team was well known up front. He was going to be a problem. We did not want to deal with problem children. Others may, we didn't. That's number one. Number two, every year in Indianapolis, we said the following: the price of admission is 100% effort all the time in everything we do. Well, how can we take Randy Moss when we make this statement? It's that simple." Oh, my Lord. Speaking of my brother, man, the Two Live Stews, we used to go back and forth about this when we used to do the show. And my brother always used to say the reason why he would take Jerry Rice over Randy Moss, like if he had his option of starting his team with one of those guys, that he would take Jerry Rice, and most, teams would take Jerry Rice because Jerry Rice never took plays off. Like there was always this thing that Randy Moss took plays off. Like, instead of running down the field and being a distraction or whatever and taking coverage with him to whatever side, if the play was going on the other side, Moss would loaf. He would half-ass it, and wouldn't come off the ball, and he would take plays off. And so I used to say to my brother, man, I mean, if I can get Randy Moss, the Randy Moss that we've seen throughout his career, I'll take a half-ass run-in Randy Moss before I take anybody else at 100%. And I think that whole theme, that whole idea of taking plays off is subjective. When you're Randy Moss and you run 35, 55, 11 fly routes in any given game, like, I think I would be okay with you taking a couple plays off. It's basically how you view it. If Randy Moss every other down is running a fly route where he's all out running a 4.2 40, running 60, 70 yards, and he does that every other down, like, I think it would be okay for Randy Moss to take a couple plays off. I'm fine with that. What? I am fine with that. Right. And anybody, let me just say this about Mr. Polian. I don't know a rat's ass about Bill Polian. But Bill Polian's statements about not putting Randy Moss and Terrell Owens in the Hall of Fame might be the dumbest statement I've ever heard in my life. Right. And I'm not embellishing. I'm not joking. I'm not, trying to exaggerate here. To say that he would not vote, or he doesn't believe that Terrell Owens, who might be top 5 wide receiver that I've seen in the last 40 years, that Terrell Owens and Randy Moss, who I think is the best wide receiver I've seen in my life, he wouldn't put them in because they weren't quote-unquote character guys, might be the dumbest shit ever to be spoken in this world. Right. Very good point by Al. We're still number one Thompson. Just having him out there brings attention to his side of the field, even if he's not running a dummy 50-yard route down the field. Yes, Randy Moss could stand at the line of scrimmage and not move, and there would be at least 2 people guarding him. They won't move either. You understand what I'm saying? There would be at least 2 people. He could stand at the line of scrimmage every single time, and there would be 2 people that would not move from that side of the field because they had to take account for him. And usually, a lot of the times, it'd be 3 people What does that mean? If you got 3 people in your secondary not moving because they want to make sure Randy Moss is covered, double and triple covered, that has to mean somebody on the other side of the field is wide the fuck open. I mean, this might be the most ignorant thing I've ever heard in my life, man. There's no might about it. I think it is. And I don't know if Bill Polian, if he still has, or if he's ever had, who votes for the Hall of Fame with the writers? I don't know. So I'm not sure. Now that he's not a GM anymore, he may have a vote. Because he's with ESPN. He does a lot of stuff for ESPN. If he has a vote, man, they need to take his vote away. Period. Simple as. Anybody that knows him, they need to take their vote away. If you know Bill Polian, your vote getting taken away. Period. And it's crazy how these cats get all high and mighty about character, this, that, and the other, when we've heard story after story after story about how these cats are jerks and these cats are racist off the field. Ty Cobb was notoriously this big-ass racist in baseball. Nobody talk about not putting them in no damn Hall of Fame. It's about what you do in the field. I don't care what Lawrence Taylor did outside of the field. Period. To say that Randy Moss wouldn't help teams win football games is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Randy Moss didn't help teams win football games? You know, it's almost like we shouldn't even address this. And I just had to bring it up because it was a real topic of conversation over the last couple of days. But it almost feels like that I shouldn't even have dignified that story. Really. Like, we shouldn't even dignify something like that. You're listening to The Doug Stewart Show.